All right, folks. So this is going to be a little bit of a weird clip, just because I had edited it a little more than usual. So right now we're just working on pulling out these caps, and they ended up being a little bit tight on us. We hadn't pre-soaked them at all, so highly recommend that you pre-soak them, and that's actually what we're going to do in a couple of seconds here. You want to be very careful that you don't press these out with a brake press and use too much pressure that would end up causing the ears to bend. We're just doing a couple of light taps with the hammer there, and if it takes more than that, then you want to do some more soaking, possibly a little bit of heating, try and get that surface rust and everything to break off.
But that's the issue with the press.
Well, yeah, so you got to support it all around, or?
Yeah, that's how those ears get bent.
Oh, with the press.
Yeah.
Should we soak it and then I just start cutting on the other one and let it wait?
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Okay.
All right, so here you can see we're going to put some penetrating oil in there to try and get things to loosen up for us. All right, so what we're doing here is we're cleaning the inside holes here, and we just want to make sure that they're free of any nicks or burrs or anything that could cause any problems. This is a pretty lightweight brush wheel that I'm using. I ended up going back and using something a little bit stronger. It ended up removing a little bit faster than I anticipated, so that would be something that would have to be accounted for. Just make sure that you're not removing more than you actually need to. So here we're going to start doing some surface work, and I actually ended up using a benchtop grinder, which you'll see in a couple of minutes. So cleaning these things up was a little bit of a pain. Using the power tools like this, that's why I ended up going to a benchtop grinder, which was way faster and less work on the hands. Okay, so here we're doing a little bit more cleaning again. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put these caps in. We're using a little bit of assembly lubricant. And what we're doing is we're just sticking them in. We're not actually going to put the U-joints in. We're just going to see to make sure that the cap actually moves nicely within the hole. So it should be tight, but it should not be so tight that it binds up and it'll pop is what it'll do. And that's when it just kind of skips in movement. You don't want it to be doing that popping or that skipping, because you need it to only go right up to the ring where the snap ring clips go in. When you're doing the assembly, if by any chance you go past where those holes are for the snap ring clips, where it's actually a groove, you're in trouble, because you basically have to start over and recut out the joint. So you can see how, as he's turning it, it moves pretty nice. That's what we want. Now you see how it starts to get tight? And so now it's getting to the point where it's too tight. He's going to have me turn it here to try and do it myself.
After doing this all day and all those other axles, my hands are killing me from the last time.
So this is definitely tighter than it should be. You can see I'm really having to put a lot of effort into it.
If you can do it with your hand, that's okay, because you're not putting nearly as much force as if you were trying to do it with a press. There's no way you're going to bend the ears if you're able to get it in there with hand force.
Holy cow. You're not kidding about this.
So the process of what you're going to be doing here is you're going to check each one of these holes to make sure that the cap goes in nicely, it doesn't bind up or anything. And once you're sure that the holes are good, then you can come back and start installing the U-joints. You can see how tight this is. The problem with this is that you have no control over it. At any given second, it could pop inside that hole, and that means it's just going to move a couple of millimeters at a time versus just smoothly.
I mean, keep going.
And you can go past, again, the grooves that the stop ring clip goes into. I know it's a little bit confusing, just bear with me. When we do the assembly in the next video, you'll see more of why all this stuff matters.
But it'll get easier. It'll get really hard, then it'll get easier. I think you're past the hard part.
So again, part of this process is you have to test each one of these holes on each axle. Don't just assume that it's okay. You want to know that it's good. If it's tight, you're going to have to do some more cleaning on it. Maybe a little bit of light, a brush wheel or something like that. If you do use sandpaper, it's got to be very, very light. You're not wanting to remove any excess material. You're just trying to clean it up so that the cylinder or the hole is smooth for the caps to slide through. So that's pretty much this part of the process. The rest of the video, we're just kind of talking about what we did here. And then of course the last clip you're going to see, I'm on the benchtop grinder and cleaning everything up. Again, this is just the preparing of the axles. You're not actually doing an assembly at this point. You're just preparing, making sure that everything is good so they go together smoothly. If you neglect to do this process, you could risk getting a situation where as you press in the caps on the U-joints, they get pressed too far and then you're unable to reverse it and you got to start over by cutting them out. So I apologize, it's kind of a weird video. I know it's edited weird, voiceover is weird, but that's the only way that I could kind of convey everything that needed to be conveyed. So with that, next week we're actually going to start the assembly process, so hope you enjoyed and we'll catch you guys next week.